Hi guys, so I didn't exactly have a chance to meet with my group yet, because life got away from me. As you can tell by my parents, it's been a day. It's been a long week. I'm a preschool teacher. We just set up our rooms for the coming school year that starts on Monday. I drive my school's bus. What else do I do? I also have been pet sitting a lot. But for this project, I know we were supposed to meet in groups. Again, I'm sorry that I messed up and I didn't realize that on Wednesday night is when we met, because life. But that's no excuse. So I'm gonna do it solo because I'm pretty sure they're already done with it. So we had preschool safety. And a couple things come to mind when I think of preschool safety. One, if I wouldn't let my own child, not that I have a child, play on the play structure or use the toys and equipment, why am I going to let someone else's child do it? Two, I work currently at a Montessori preschool, so this is more applicable if you teach Montessori and you have little objects floating around all the time. Hello, meet the little duck fam. We use these to count. We have a little board. They put ducks on this board in certain spots that are labeled and predetermined, and they use them to count. Well, look how tiny that little duck is. Like, for size comparison, that's my hand. That's the duck. So it's pretty tiny. And could easily be put into a child's mouth. Now I have kids. My room is certified? Not certified. Licensed for 2.5 to 6-year-olds. Those 2.5-year-olds, you bet, try to put these in their mouth. And how do we prevent that? Well, we do our best. So, at the beginning of each school year, when we get a whole bunch of new friends, we do a lesson. I have a whole bunch of little ducks. And I tell my friends that these little ducks are special little ducks. That if we lose them, the mama duck is gonna come and be very sad. And the mama duck might tear our classroom apart. Not that I'd ever tear my classroom apart, but anywho. And so we have to keep track of however many ducks I give them. Like, for start, I think I give them 10 ducks to start. But 10 of these little things is a lot of little things. But they manage to, it's like their prized possession. They don't lose them. And then the next week, the next month, 20 little ducks. So they increase their amount of little ducks that they get. Because when they can get through 10 ducks and it doesn't go in the mouth, it shows me that they're ready for more. I know they're tiny, they're cute, and they're adorable. But it shows me they're ready and that they're capable of handling them. That's why I only put 10 out to begin with, because I want to make sure they're able to handle them before I give them more. Anyway, this is my box. There's 400 in here, I believe. There should be 400 in here. We're going to find out in a little bit when I prepackage them in packages of 10. But another thing I think of is making sure you know where your children are at all times. So I don't actually have an actual form. We call them name to face. Basically, when a child comes in, you write their name, the time they come in, and if they go to any extracurricular, you write them out, who and where they went. So for this example, I'm going to use soccer. If they went to soccer, you put soccer and then the coach's initials or name. And then we also have a part on our name to face at the bottom. It's an hourly count, so it goes 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. And you put, it has the hour, you put the number of children you have, and your initials. And that's important because we get random spontaneous tornado drills like we just had today. We weren't working today, but we had a tornado watch at where I live. So we randomly get tornado watches, tornado warnings, whatever. So we have a lot of practice with that, and so knowing how many kids you have is very important. We have fire drills all the time. With 2.5 to 6 year olds, it's a lot. But we do it. We have to know how many kids we have. Somebody's in the front of the line, somebody's in the back of the line, and we're counting heads all the time. And then name to face. We have their name, and we literally just go down the list and start calling out names. And they say here, or yes, or we look for them with their eyes if they're not responsive. Yeah, that's a big safety thing. I also think teaching walking feet's a very important thing, because if we're running around in the classroom and little Johnny's got a handful of my little ducks and we trip and one of those goes in our mouth, that's not going to be a good day. Sorry, I love to fidget with stuff, so I'm paying attention. I'm just fidgeting. Another thing I think of when I think of preschool safety is that, you're responsible for them from the minute they enter your care to the minute they exit your care. I've heard so many teachers be like, I wouldn't take a bullet for them. I'd be making sure I'm safe. I'm blah, blah, blah. That does not fly with me. My kids come before me. I know good and well from the minute I accepted the job as a teacher that I may have to put my life on the line to make sure my kids are safe. I knew that my kids would go home to their families, but I might not, because that's just the kind of teacher I am. I would much rather make sure my kids are protected than make sure I'm protected, which is very it's very not of the teachers nowadays. They're very much, a majority of them are the kind of teachers that are like, well, if they die, they die. And I'm like, no, but your job is to protect them, and that's a pet peeve of mine. I think another thing is, like, I've watched kids, 6-year-olds, not be able to write their names. But then when I started at a Montessori, not that I'm saying one is better than the other, I'm just saying the differences I've noticed and how it plays into a safety role. My Montessori 3-year-olds know their name. They know what it looks like. They know how it's spelled. They can trace their name. They're working on writing their name independently. But if you were to ask what their name was, my Montessori kids could tell you, but the kids from my other class would not have been able to tell you. Therefore, if they got kidnapped, they're not going to know their name. They're not going to know who they are. And that's kind of a big scary deal for me. Because as much as I'd love to believe the world is full of good people, there's bad people out there who try to take advantage of children. Another big thing with playground safety is you're not at the same spot in the playground as your co-teacher or your assistant. You guys are separating yourselves. So one of you is on the left side, one of you is on the right side, one of you, whatever it is, north, south, east, west, up, down. You should never be in the same place as your co-teacher, and that's a big thing, because if you are in the same place as that co-teacher, you're not watching those children, and those children could get hurt, which isn't fair to those children. Another big thing is making sure if you have a child with severe allergies, you're keeping that EpiPen in a non-locked area. Like, we have a first aid bag that hangs up high enough so the kids can't get into it, but is not locked, so in case of an emergency, we can just grab and go with the EpiPen, and we can do our stuff, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. I'm also talking a million miles an hour because my brain is so jumbled. Getting yourself med certified, keeping your trainings up to date, those are all part of keeping your children safe. I do not know how to stress this enough, but if you have a child with medical needs, make sure you are med certified in your state. Med certified means the nurse of the school comes, she says, oh, you know how to do this, you know how, blah, 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 blah. You are able to administer this medicine. That's all it is. For me, I had to take a test. We get, I'm going to see if I can show you. We get these little certificates every time when we complete. They look kind of like this. It just says that I've completed the medication administration training part 1. Part 2 is where the nurse comes in. She signs off saying I am good, that I'm official, that I know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. And we get training like that for everything. We get certificates like that for everything. I think also part of keeping your kids safe is making sure you have a curriculum and that you're following it, because if you don't follow the curriculum, your kids get bored and they start whacking each other and chopping off hair. I don't know how else to explain that. I'm talking out of a lot of real life experiences. I'm sorry. I know I probably should talk out of the book, but it's hard for me to talk out of the book with all the real life experiences I've had. I've been a preschool teacher for going on 3 years now, and so I've seen a lot of different teachers. I've seen a lot of different teaching styles, and I think it's hard that as a teacher, our teaching styles may not always line up. We might have completely different teaching styles. Like, person A may believe that, kids are capable of everything, and person B might believe that, we shouldn't leave the scissors out, we shouldn't leave whatever out, because the kids might abuse it. Kids can find a way to use everything against us. Like, it's not rocket science. These kids know. They know more than we give them credit for, and I think they get frustrated with us because, again, they know more than we give them credit for, and so they get frustrated in the sense that, I know how to do that, why won't you let me do that? I hope that explains some safety for preschool. I can also talk about safety on field trips with preschoolers. That's a whole different ballgame, though. But yeah. I hope that answered the question. Thanks, guys.